Shalom, shalom, all praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Hey, don't mind the fly trap in the background. If you're having nets and flies pop up, so, I'm gonna keep this 100, keep it transparent. I thought I'd do something a little different today, right? So, came in here, mine said, had to go ahead and whip up for the day. In the world, it's the Father's Day, right? But for me, it's another day to spend with the Father, to give all glory and honor. So, I say, man, happy Abba's Day to the greatest, Abba Yahuwah, the greatest Father I got it for. But, I was in here, I'm trying to eat a little better, work out, watch what I put in my temple. So I came in here, put out these on. Got the home fries right now with the onions and the peppers. Got me some y'all see that? Got some unleavened bread. There we go. About to make that. And I got me some good old salmon. Go ahead and make me some salmon patties with the potatoes. Throw me some eggs in there. With the unleavened bread. So I thought I'd chime in for a little bit. I ain't really been making videos like that. Hopefully y'all can hear me because I do got the headphones in. But me, I like to clean as I go, so hear water running. It's just me trying to clean some of the dishes to get them out the way, make room. So, with that being said, I got a bowl right here. I'm gonna do a little something a little different. People probably not used to it, might don't like it, but hey, it's just what I do when I make my salmon. I like to add some tuna to it. Kind of stretch it out. So, I just showed y'all the bowl. Got the green peppers and some onion and some garlic in there for the mixture. Also got a few seasonings over here I'm gonna use. Look, I'm my own cameraman, so like I said, I'm keeping it transparent, but this was just something in my spirit to do today. Yesterday I took my rest on Saturday. Like I said, did get to work out a little bit. Take that off the stove. Don't burn nothing in here. Prayfully everybody's doing well out there. It has been a blessing to you as he has been blessing me. So my family, they went to my wife's father's house and they went over there to go spend, Father's Day. Now, like I said, I don't celebrate these holidays. I'm more focused on trying to understand the holy days, the days Abba actually assigned for us, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I believe we should be, I want to say maybe 4 more feast days left in this year. So, I was talking to my family, my spiritual family, and some of us are celebrating this day, some of us are not. And me personally, like I said, I don't knock nobody for what they do, where they at in their walk. Because just like the vices we had when we came into this walk, Abba gave us enough strength to overcome those things. And I feel like in due time, when he's ready, we're going to overcome the things that's vices or that's offensive to the Most High. I said he's not holding us truly accountable because we don't know. There's a lot of things that has been lost in the archives, lost in translation, and we're learning, and we're trying to figure this thing out as we go. But like I said, me personally, my focus has been solely on the Most High, working on getting myself better, being a better version of myself, however that looks. I just want to make sure I'm pleasing to the Father, right? So, like I say again, I'm here to uplift, I'm here to encourage, I'm here to show that anything is possible. Because at the end of the day, we had a great example in Yahusha, what the world called Jesus Christ, of how we supposed to be while we in this flesh. And I know this flesh, it can be tempting. Ben Puff, man. I got you. Alright? Just chill out. I got you. We're gonna eat good, okay? I gotta finish making it first. But you know, and I know some people want, well, you know, it's man, family, shaboo boo boo, bop 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 bop. Abba is the greatest man there is, greatest father, right? And Abba don't force us to do anything. He's a gentleman. He could make us if he wanted to, but he don't do that. He allow us to live. He allow us to learn. He allow us to see what we need to see. And what kind of life would we have if we was just on autopilot, or we were being forced to do things? Now, of course, we see this world as gearing towards the system of surveillance, which I think was so crazy, right? Like 2 days ago, I was talking to my group, my tribe, and I was just telling them, woke up early in the morning, get ready for work, and it was a helicopter just hovering, just sitting there, just hovering. But of course, this ain't the first time I've seen a helicopter just hovering over around where I stay at. But the night before that, no, I'm sorry, a couple nights after that, I see a drone. And this drone circling. Now, I know people got drones, and you know, it's not really uncommon to see them. But to see one circling my building while I'm on my balcony working out about maybe 20 to almost 30 times if I really kept counting. Just saying that to say, man, we see a lot of things starting to change. There's a lot of stuff out here we cannot trust. And Abba is calling us out of this system, man. Either we're going to do it or we're not. You know, and again, I'm not here to Abba's calling us out of this system, man. Because at the end of the day, how can we get ready for the Exodus? Everybody talking about the rapture, but nobody talks about the second Exodus that has occurred. And if you read Ecclesiastes, you already know Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. Once if it happened before, it will happen again. Maybe just in a different format, a different way. But Abba is giving us the blueprint on what we need to do and how we need to go about it. So right now I'm just breaking the salmon up, get some of these bones up out of there, and then watch just put that can over there. Man, you know, I said I thank God tonight because he done gave me wisdom to do a lot of things, man. I'm making this mind by trade or occupation, I should say. And so far so good, man, with the gig Abba has provided me with, and I thank him every day for that. Of course, everything you do in life has its challenges, it has its ups and downs, and I know I haven't seen nothing yet, but at the end of the day, you know, one thing I know about Abba, man, you ask him for understanding, you ask him for wisdom, He gives it to you. You know, you seek him. What do you say? Seek first the kingdom, and everything else will be added to you. So I'm gonna not try to make. I'm gonna try not to make this video too long. Cause I know me, I can get caught in the conversation and cooking. And, you know, trying to stay focused on burning. I ain't got nothing really cooking right now. Like I said, just got finished making fried potatoes for get those out the way. Make these salmon cakes. Some people say salmon patties or croquettes or whatever. But and I know, like I said, some people talk about the law, and as I was talking to my tribe, and I was just telling them, I look at the world and I see the modern day Pharisees and Sadducees you have, and this is not pertaining to everybody, but these organizations truly are a representation, as I say again, life repeats itself. Like people say, the game don't change, just the players do, right? And I see with the Hebrew Israelite camps, I see modern day Pharisees. And then with the churches, I see modern day Sadducees. And I was watching something a little earlier. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I think it's called The Bridge, where they had Jewish, Christians, and Hebrew Israelites. And me personally, like I said, it's not a shot at anybody, because I was once in the church. You know, and Abba used the church to get me where I was at, to get me where I'm at now with him. So I look at all these places or organizations, or however you want to look at it, they are stepping stones. Some places are stumbling blocks. It's just all how you use it. You know, it's all on what you encounter when you go through your journey. Like I tell people, man, I done went through the phase of being Jehovah's Witness. I done went through the phase of trying to be Muslim, Islam, to a point where I just said I was spiritual at one point. But one thing about Abba, boy, he gonna correct you, he gonna check you. You know, I tell my testimony a lot. Like I was saying, thank your mom for taking that time to learn the Most High. At the time, we did call him God, because like I said, we were going through the phases of transferring from Jehovah's Witness to actually being in the church. So, but I'm just thankful, you know, God rest her soul, that she took the time to give me and my siblings Bible studies, teach us the way for ourselves. So as we got older, you know, we might went different directions and we might took different paths, but I can always recall when I got into that Bible study with my mom, I was always ecstatic to get into Bible study. It's like I could always see the scriptures in my mind. And I know back then they used to have this yellow Bible, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe it had pictures in it, but before we had that Bible, it was straight word. And even then, what drew me to the Bible was that I could see it manifest in my mind. So, man, you know, like I said, Abba has always been with me, even through the time of me going through my little adolescent, teenage phase, I'm in the world doing things, and he was still with me in the midst of it, even though I drifted away from him, and even forgot about him because I was so busy trying to fit in. Why? Because I went through traumas as a child that had me at the point of so much rejection that you just ecstatic to fit in, you know. So yeah, I thank the Father. Alright, so let me show y'all what I'm working with right now. I gotta throw the seasonings in there, throw a little bit of breadcrumbs in it. I might do a little bit on purpose flour, onions again just for the hold, have that consistency. So y'all can see, got the onions, the green pepper. Like I said, I threw a little garlic in there. And I mix this with the salmon cakes and a little bit of tuna in it, just to stretch it out. Got some salmon, smoked salmon seasoning, a little Cajun. I try not to be so heavy on the seasoning. I like to get just enough. And I got the good old Bay. If y'all don't mind, just comment it in the video. What's your go-to meal, or what you like whipping up in the kitchen? I put a little parsley and a little bit of oregano in there. Got a little bit of onion powder. And a little bit of that smack your mama. Please don't smack your mama. No violence over here. Man, speaking on this, right? Because I had to talk to Abba because I had a little situation with some family right now. It got into a little situation. And the flesh part of me kind of like, let's mount up. Let's go rap. But then the spirit part of me say, you know what? No, let me take this to Abba. Let me go to the throne, because at the end of the day, Abba can handle this way better than I want to go handle this. Or at least give me the wisdom to. But you know, when you're in that spirit of the moment and everybody all amped up and everybody ready to go, and it's like, yeah, let's go. Let's go. But you know, I thank Abba for the wisdom. I thank him for the patience to reflect and, you know, say, hold up. What would Abba do? What would Yahushua do in this moment? Now, don't get me wrong, because I believe in due time, it's time to go to battle and war, because he did it with our forefathers, and I don't think he's not going to do it with us. Because a lot of people just had this notion that it's all about love and peace, but I think it's either Proverbs or Ecclesiastes that tell us it's a time for everything. It's a time for peace, it's a time for love, it's a time to grow, it's a time to pluck up, it's a time for war. So everything in Abba's timing, right? Alright, so I got the seasonings in there. I'll throw these. I might can actually use one egg. I don't think I need two. Throw that up in there. Mix it up so I get. Yeah, I'm gonna throw one more up in there. Two should be good. Sometimes, man, certain things happen. You just gotta have a level head. Gotta have patience. Because that's the enemy. He always wants you to run and rush into something. And then after you do it, you realize, dang, I done messed up. And I done that on plenty of occasions. I done made myself look very ignorant. Allowed the enemy to make me look very ignorant. You know? So gotta really use wisdom, right? And can't keep thinking with the flesh. The flesh means there's no good. The scriptures even tell us we have enmity with this flesh. This flesh is connected to the beast. It's connected to the enemy. As I always say, the inner you, because we're only tempted by the desires that we have within ourselves. Little breadcrumbs, because really I don't have to add no flour to this. It's just I'm using breadcrumbs, which I might just keep it like that. Mix that up. Got my pan over here. Got some olive oil. Like I said, I just made potato, so probably not too bad. There's olive oil on that thing. Let that simmer real quick. Well, y'all probably can't see my camera. Like I said, I don't have the best viewpoint, but make sure I got my little flour area. I'm gonna stand up more like that so y'all can see me. I don't know, that might work for a little bit. Okay. Sorry, I got this flour over here. I don't like to let nothing go to waste. I'm gonna ball these patties up. Oil. Come out another pan. So I need some healthy joints too, because like I said, I got enough meat over here. And this will be something I can eat on for a nice little while, a nice little minute. Trying to tell you, man, when you got dogs, it's a nice alarm system. Boy, they bark at everything. Anything moving, they barking at it. They worth their keep, I put it like that. I had cats too. My cat was vicious, boy, he was a fighter. He didn't like people too much. So if he liked you, that was a good thing. I want these ones to be nice and healthy, not too healthy. Okay. So y'all can see that one kind of nice and healthy. It's all good. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come behind so I can throw some flour out. What you should have did is put it in a bowl. That's what I was asking for my unleavened bread that I gotta knead out. Yeah, man, but I've been on this journey, man, trying to do right by my temple. You know, it's kind of been a little rigorous, been on and off. Still working on trying to get this where I want it. But like I said, I'm thankful that I even have the ability, you know, to do what Allah has given me the ability to do. That way, whatever I don't use it. I don't like wasting nothing, man. I don't like wasting nothing. Foul and low. So that way I can still kind of cook some more croquettes, as they call them. I say salmon cakes. But yeah, man, like I said, I gotta give honor and praise to the Father. Truly do. Because without him, man, I just know I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I had lost a lot of homeboys growing up to the streets, to the system. Even got a younger brother, blood brother, who's been in the system since he was 15. And like I said, it only took me one time to be behind that cell for longer than 6 months to realize that's not a place I want to go. It's not a place for me. Hey, for those who bout it and they love that life, hey, thing. Like I say, it's much more peaceful on this side than on the other side of that bar. On the other side of the bar. So I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not perfect by no means. By no means am I perfect. I got flaws. I still make mistakes. At the end of the day, I'd like to come on here and just give some encouragement, help people see that it is light in this world. That we like to see nothing but the darkness and the chaos, because that's all that came promoted to us for reasons. Like I said, we know the new world order is being shaped. The order out of chaos. Everybody seen that situation at the White House. I'm like, man, first crowds in New York launched out because I guess the Spurs winning. So they just launching acting food. But then you got the president. But you know he do his thing. That's all I'm gonna say. He do his thing. You throwing UFC fights on the line. You know, for me, when I seen that, I don't know what movie that was that I watched. It might have been, I don't think it was Django, but it was a movie where I seen, it was more like a slavery movie, where they had the slaves on the front line in a ring fighting. I usually do these in like a deep fry, but I do it like this today in this pan. Wish y'all can smell these, especially with the onions and the peppers and the seasoning. Everything smell torch, but that's what I got in my spirit when I seen that. Just to see the ring in the front yard, and I guess this was supposed to be the celebration of America's 250-year anniversary type situation, which I say is a shame. But they like to say, God bless America, right? Like I said, it's God, y'all asking to bless America. But then on top of that, you got this whole situation with Carmelo Anthony. Which I say again, most of us know this stuff is nothing but distraction, ploys to keep the minds of the masses wrapped up and consumed with debauchery, dog and pony circus shows and things of that nature. And we know the Roman Coliseum is full of bread and circus, which you have with the Spurs game. But then, like I said again, looking at that on the front lawn of the White House, or that Coliseum, is showing up. And then, here we go, we got this holiday, that holiday, what was it, Juneteenth that just passed. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about my people getting recognition. And I say people loosely because all skin folk and kinfolk. But to see the strides we done made throughout history. But I say, man, those who have gone before us and had made and paved the way for us to be right here, would they be proud of us or would they be ashamed of us? Because we done got the majority of what we wanted, which was to be equal in a system that don't care about you. We want to be equal in our matrix. Like I always say, it's a lot of ciphers. Because there's a lot of people who know the truth, but they willing to go back into the system. That's that crow cake right there. So I don't want that joint too. Got the fire on low. Supposed to be crust on the outside and soft texture on the inside. I think I could probably get out of this mixture about four more healthy joints. And these joints right here, you can like down and break in half and get 2 out of them for real. So back to my soap. Back to my talk. Yeah, man, it's so crazy. Because like I said, I'm thankful to Allah for everything. But I am thankful for those who came before me. Even when you talk about the civil rights movement, those who had to be sacrifices for us to get here. And even when I took that scripture, Yahusha, for his sacrifice, his greatest sacrifice. Because without him, we wouldn't even have the opportunity to be where we are right now. Mankind, period. I know a lot of people don't believe in Yahusha, and those who do believe in Yahusha think he only came to do what he did for the house of Israel. So like I said, it's a lot of convoluted and crazy doctrine and information out there. But you gotta really allow the Holy Spirit to lead you. Like I said again, I went through the phases of looking for my identity and thinking I was, as they would tell us, my brother had brought this up in one of our Bible studies, right? He was talking about how I grew up on watching Yu-Gi-Oh! When they came out with the Digimon, the Pokemon, of course that's digital monsters and Pokemon, pocket monsters. But at the end, and then you got the Yu-Gi-Oh! So you see this, and already the program was to make us think we were a part of an Egyptian heritage, and I kind of thought like that. I'm thinking I'm a pharaoh, I'm a king, and all this other jazz. But this is what I'm hearing, this is what I'm seeing. But once I found out the truth, and Abba really led me into this word, and I started reading them scriptures, and I started realizing, as they call it now, foundational Black American, FBA, I guess. We get times every day. But as an individual Black heritage. But what I say now, because I found out of Hebrew descent, I realized we didn't have a culture. Everybody here who was from another country, off another continent, they know where they can go. They know where they can return to once they leave here. But us, on the other hand, we got no land, we got no home, and this is what this is about, man. God promised us, He promised our forefathers land and inheritance. But we can't get that inheritance if we're not ready. As He said, how can I trust you with more if I can't trust you with a little? And this is why we're going through the wilderness season, just like our forefathers before us, because Abba had to get that leaven up out of it. Hence, why we do Passover and unleavened bread, why we keep the feast days, because these are memorials to commemorate Abba and what He has done for us, bringing us out of Egypt, out of bondage, setting us free from our sins. When I think about how the children of Israel ended up in Egypt, it was because of Allah. But He had to do what He had to do using Joshua, I always keep saying Joshua, Joseph, as a Christ-like figure to to help save Israel, but not only Israel, save the world. Because at that time, that famine that hit wasn't just affecting Egypt. It wasn't just affecting the Israelite. It was affecting the whole world, which made Egypt a strong hub or a center to be able to go and purchase food that was needed to stay alive. But when you think about it, when Joseph was alive, those pharaohs respected not only Joseph for what he did, but they respected the Most High Yah. And I look at it ain't no different now, because as the generations proceed in advance, you have a new generation that comes up, because the old generation ain't passing on the inheritance and understanding of who Yah is. Everybody know who God is. And we know God ain't nothing but a title. But you realize that the organization behind God and Christianity has nothing to do with the real true founding fathers. You know, you talk about Christianity, most of the time you think about Catholics, right? And their founding fathers are Pleiades and Socrates and, you know, all those cats in Rome. But they have nothing to do with the Israelites. We have founding fathers from the 12 tribes, as far as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but also from the 12 disciples. We're talking about Paul, Peter. These are the founding fathers. But what did the Romans do? They put Saint on everything. Saint Peter, Saint Paul, Saint Mary. What's the Saint stand for? I can't just be Paul, Peter, and Mary. Which, I mean, I don't subscribe to that worship for Mary or Peter or Paul at all. But I do know that they are part of the founding fathers, because the church really didn't get established until the disciples, the apostles. Now, don't get me wrong, because you go back to Adam, they already had the priesthood and everything. That was established. Adam was considered the first priest. But see, what people don't understand, and some do, some don't, is that the true priesthood is the Melchizedek priesthood. And that's what Yahushua came to bring back. See, the Levitical priesthood was a temporary priesthood because, again, you was dealing with flawed individuals. You was dealing with men who still had carnal sins. And they trying to sacrifice to Abba Yah on behalf of other people. But they still have the same nature. And that's why when you think about it, as I say, Pharisees and Sadducees came derived from the Levitical priesthood, which we seen what Aaron did with the golden calf. We seen what Eli's two sons was doing when they was in priesthood. They was basically doing what the Pharisees and Sadducees ended up doing. You know, taking money, sleeping with the women, keeping people from actually coming into the presence of the Lord. So that Levitical priesthood had been tainted. And even when you read Ezekiel, when he talks about the hole in the wall, and he takes Ezekiel and he sees what they doing in the dark, which they think Abba don't see. That's what I say. Nothing we do is not being recorded. Just because man can't see what we do in the shadows and the dark doesn't mean Abba can't. He has angels that record everything we do. And this is why I say, granted, I'm never saying I'm perfect. I fall, but I know I got to get back up. And Abba said, why David was a man after his own heart? Because of repentance. So So I just say, how do we talk about Donald Trump being the man of God? When, if anybody go back and see that interview we did, I forgot who it was with, but it was with somebody. And that interview actually, did he believe that he needed to be forgiven? But we already know, Trump just said he don't believe he's going to heaven anyway. But we want to say this is God's man. So like I said, man, it's a lot in this world that is a shame. I thought we could get 8 more. No, I didn't get 8 more. Well, it got me a total of 6. This can be the smallest one right here. So I might be to the dogs. Little Ben Pup though, God, he done disappeared. Got tired of waiting. On him, he's probably waiting. Soon for me to go down and go in the room, get comfortable, he gonna pop out the cut on me. Ah! Get me, my G. Thank Abba, man. He gave me a better perspective on animals. You know, when you talk about the Urkadeshi, I have a better respect for him. I mean, I've always been an animal lover since I was a kid. Excuse me, the opportunity to had to make sure that was good. Oh, there you go. Yeah, behind the wall, huh? Got this last joint. Go in the pan. But yeah, I mean, at some point when I was younger, because of certain things I was introduced to, I think I did have a moment where I did mistreat animals. You know, you watching, who was that show? Problem Child, Dennis the Menace. There's a lot of stuff that was just teaching me wrong as a child. You know, so I see certain animals and shooting them with BB guns and pellet guns, and even trying to see if I can put fireworks in their food, scare them, stuff like that. Just being a real undecent human being. And like I said, man, I just thank God because He has shown me so much. I'm not sure that these are so small. Oh! Flavor right. Seasoned to perfection. Not overly seasoned. Two last things I'm gonna do, but I probably about to get off before I even be able to finish those. I just wanted to kind of chop it up, chop a little bit louder in the kitchen. I have something you do, you know, when you're cooking, you taste testing everything down there. You done already made a plate. You just taste testing. Bad habit there, but do all the Abba allows me to do. Cook, grill, give me the mind capacity to figure things out. I'll be a handyman, so I'll be a man of all trades. You know what they say your gift will make a way for me. So I'm not out here trying to be a millionaire, I'm out here trying to be rich. Again, there's too many avenues to really be rich now. If it was really meant for me, if it's something that I would see fit that I have, I get it. If not, I'm content, like Paul said, man. But one thing I realized, getting rich, all you got is more problems, more responsibility. And of course, a lot of people say, well, that's good problems. I guess, depending on how you look at it, it can be. You know, I'm not knocking those who got money or who set up. You're supposed to set yourself up and set your future children up, give them an inheritance. But I would say the most important inheritance is to you pass to your children is the understanding of who Yahushua was. Because Abraham then passed his inheritance down to Isaac until Isaac had a relationship, or until he told Isaac who Abba Yah was. Vice versa. Isaac ain't passed it down to Jacob. He tried to give it to Esau too, but Esau was rebellious. Same way when you think about Cain and Abel. Adam tried to, and Eve tried to give it down to Cain and Abel. But they didn't want it. But one thing I've understood through Ecclesiastics, like I said, Solomon, wise is man, but again, he did some foolish things. That's all it says. Wisdom doesn't always mean you're going to make the right decision. It just means that you know how to apply certain information that's given when it's necessary. But being wise don't prevent you from being foolish. And Solomon was proof of that. I've already told him what not to do even when he came and gave him the wisdom. But Solomon still did what he wanted to do. Because those are the generational curses that get passed down from the fathers to the sons, down to the children. David was a whoremonger himself, and it was already told to David by prophet Nathan that the sword would never leave his house. And if you look at Kings, you will see that's exactly what was going on with all the empires of different kingdoms that had roads. They end up fighting each other. And most majority was family. So, and I look at it like I said, even today, with the house of Judah. You got certain Israelite camps fighting with certain Israelite camps. It's just a lot of bickering amongst the bloodline. But Solomon had wisdom, and like you said, all this is vanity. You're going to build up an empire, and if you don't teach that person who's coming to take over that empire when you're long gone, they're going to run that right in the ground. So all that work you did was going to be for nothing. So you got to give your children a foundation. That's just like, those farmers. They didn't pass down that inheritance of farming. Limp up. What am I doing? And that kept generation wealth coming. You feel me? See, but ours is spiritual wealth as well as physical. Button that up, man. But that's a generational wealth. That is a thing that keeps on giving, especially when you're doing it the right way. So now I'm going to go ahead and make this unleavened bread. But y'all see the setup. So I leave on this. Whatever Abba's put on your heart to do, you do. Let no man, no woman, don't let nobody discourage you on what you need to be doing. But make sure you're getting that information from the Father, from the source himself. We don't move, we don't function without the Ruach, without the presence of the Lord. Now it is some people out here, NPCs, perishing, that don't have the spirit that's operating on autopilot or by demon. But for us who have chose to walk this thing out, be Christian, Jew, Muslim, whatever, you have some type of understanding. Because like I said, even with Ishmael, and I even believe with Isaac, they know of the Most High. Because in the book of Joshua, it talks about when Isaac Was it Isaac? Okay, I might be getting that mixed up. Not Isaac. I mean, not Ishmael. I'm sorry, not Esau. I'm sorry, Esau. But Ishmael, when Ishmael had left his father and he had started producing his own family, his first wife wasn't really a good wife. So Abraham went to go visit him, and when he met her, he didn't really agree with her, and he left her with a message to give to Ishmael and told Ishmael that he needed to remove that pig from his tent. And because Ishmael still honored his father, and he loved his father, he listened. And he knew what that meant. He knew that this woman was not holding down his house. Right. She was beating the children. She didn't even come out to greet Abraham for real. She stayed in the tent. She didn't even offer his father any water. I mean, so when you see these red flags with individuals that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, sometimes you already know, let me not mess with that individual. You know. And now again, sometimes we want to have that zeal and have that compassion to see if we can, you know, work with that individual, or by some glimmer of light, shine some light on the situation. But you know, all you can do is try at the end of the day. But if it don't succeed, keep it moving. Brush your feet off and keep it moving. So, man, I thank y'all for rocking with me for a little while. I'm about to do this unleavened bread, fry that up. Probably make me a little bit of eggs. I got my little meal together. Gonna call this the Hebrew Denny's. Because it's kind of more like breakfast around noontime. So, but all praise to the Most High. I thank the Father for y'all. I thank those who have been supporting, who's been chiming in. As I always say, be interactive. You got some comments, make them. I'm not one to shy away from any type of statement, comment. But as I always say, make sure you spend time with the Father, because that's the most important. Everything else is irrelevant. If Abba's not your focal point when you wake up and when you go to sleep, you're doing something wrong. So with that being said, man, all praises to the Most High Yah. All honor and esteem goes to Yahushua HaMashiach and the Ruach HaKodesh, the rod and the staff. May it comfort you. And until next time, shalom.